You're tuned in to Angel Heart Radio. I'm Annette McCoy, and with me this morning is Marnie Perna.
Good morning, everyone.
And how interesting, we're going to be talking about colour. So wherever you are, if you would like to join us in the chat room, we would delight for you to do just that. So please go over Angel Heart Radio Facebook page, or I do believe that you can do the same from YouTube. So please, for watching now, hop on and share with us about colours in your life. Do you have colour in your life? I was walking this morning, Marnie, and came across there, and I thought, catch
lovely.
falling star, how gorgeous.
Lovely.
Rescued it before the rain came.
Yeah.
Yes, so do you have colour? Have you always had colour? Or, because it does reflect our lives, Marnie.
It can impact us. It can either inflate us or deflate us, believe it or not.
Yes, absolutely. So I delight in wearing colours. Now, that wasn't always the case for me at all. I used to dress in black a lot, thinking that I could what's the word?
Add to
you
it.
could dress it up or you could dress it down. That was my reason come excuse. And then I realised, what am I doing? It's how do I feel when I dress solely in black?
Yeah, sometimes it's to hide, so people don't see you as clearly.
That's an interesting one.
But then the opposite to that is when we wear our special little black dress. You know, so sometimes it's the standing out and showing up and being on the spotlight in our little black outfit. So it can be used either way.
Yes, good point. And of course, a lot of black, I was given a gorgeous black dress last Christmas with splashes of wonderful colours on it. And so I agree. And the other way, of course, people can look very stunning in black when they add colour to it. It might be through a scarf or
sometimes just your accessories can lighten a black outfit. You know?
Yes.
And you smile. That's the other one, is smile brightly, and that'll pick the black up anyhow.
Absolutely.
So sometimes with black, it's an unusual one with regards to healing, because sometimes we find as practitioners that a black card in front of your head like this sometimes can be causing you to be blocked from some of your intuition and knowledge. So we actually do some techniques sometimes where we diffuse the image of black, especially around the forehead and the third eye.
Right.
So, sometimes we need the light to come in and not to have it closed off, because it's becoming more mainstream and more ordinary, I think, to talk with angels and to be psychic or to be an intuitive of any kind. But there was a time where it was considered out of the norm. So people would hide that and they would shield some of their intuition coming through. So it is a matter of being confident and having the freedom to share what you do and how you do it. And not everyone's going to like what you do or use what you do, and that's okay, because there's a lot of other people that will.
Right. Well, and then it's a matter, I believe, of standing in our own power. And so for so long, I was influenced by what other people were thinking rather than now going, well, okay, yes, some people are going to agree, some people won't. But the bottom line is, as long as I'm being true to myself, that's the important thing.
My grandfather used to say there's nothing wrong whatsoever with a healthy debate. It's when the debate gets nasty or vicious that it's not a debate anymore. It's more an anger or a confrontation. But anything on debate is it gives people the benefit of their opinion.
Yes. And of course, it as you say, and your uncle said so rightly, it's how we debate. Is it a friendly sparring match, or does it become personal
Yeah,
and
it's when it's nasty and
aggro.
personal that it's not nice.
No.
Okay, but there's, listen to a good team of debating. They don't bring the personal into it. They just use their expertise and their words to influence people's understanding of what they're talking about, sort of thing.
Well, it's interesting you mention language, because how often do we talk about colourful language?
Yeah. Yeah. So in clinic, so I use colour a lot in clinic. As my main way of using colour is my sturdy and regular angel feather cards. So if someone is starting to use colour and haven't played with it a lot, they're a beautiful set of cards that you can use. It's Michelle Newton's angel feather cards. I stock them in the clinic because I find they're very easy for children even to use. So a child can use the pack and pick out a colour and be that colour for the day. A child can also use the angel cards as a reference. If I'm feeling low or feeling unwell, what colour is represented by that? So they could pick a card that shows that colour and go, oh, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. But then pick a second card and say, this is what I wish to feel like. So they're actually training themselves to say, well, this is how I feel and this is the colour that represents, but this is what I want and this is what I'm aiming towards, and that's represented by this colour. So the colour they would wear that day then is this colour, not the colour that how they're feeling.
Right.
So colour will influence your emotional well-being. And
Yes,
it's not always, the interesting thing about it is it's not always the colour you like. So we're not talking about, oh, well, I like blue. We're talking about what does the colour blue do to you? Does it impact you or does it raise you? Okay, so you imagine someone who loves blue and gets a job and they've got to wear this blue uniform, but they don't like their job. Suddenly their blue colour is being influenced by the fact, oh, I hate my work. This colour is the same colour as I wear to work. So you need to be able to say to your body, well, yes, I do wear it to work over here, but this is my favourite colour. Or be influenced by what the archangels are giving. It's like, Archangel Raphael, I believe, is is it Raphael? Might be Michael, has a lot of green in his colour. Mother Mary, she comes to me quite often in clinic, and hers is a very gentle blue, almost like the pale blue of the ocean. Now, she'll come in a lot, especially with that colour, when people are fearful of the future. So they're thinking about the future, and it's really dark sometimes for people because they're a little bit adrift. They're not sure what's going on. So when they think of the future, there's no light there. It's that really dark. Sometimes it's grey, sometimes it's black, sometimes it's just not there. So that's when often Mother Mary comes in and she'll say, well, how about you infuse that with a very pale blue, which is more comforting and nurturing. So it's like she's giving you a big hug saying, well, look, although you don't know what the future is holding, move forward anyhow. Go forward mindfully and in the knowledge that there's softness at the end. So that way you're actually infusing the energy of a colour. And if you know what the other colour, if you can work out what the other colour is, and I'll often muscle test to find out what the actual colour is. When it's no colour, it's really awkward because they've lost the colour in their life. And that means the joy's gone.
I often reflect on what I'm drawn to wear on a particular day.
And that's great when we've got knowledge about how colour uplifts us. All right. So just anyone that's listening, just think back to what was your favourite outfit as a child? Because that'll often give you an indicator where you got not the attachment, but where that colour made you feel good. All right. So I can remember one of my most exciting purchases in clothing as a young child was this gorgeous, it wasn't yellow and it wasn't gold. It was that kind of in-between colour. And I always felt so wonderful in that dress. As an adult, I'm not sure if the same colour would suit me, but when I think back to that, it makes me smile. It makes me feel, oh, God, I felt good in that. So it definitely uplifted. So, think back and use your memories to ascertain what colour actually gave you some joy in your younger life. And if you don't have that colour in your life now, well, introduce a little bit of it into it. And you'd know this too, it doesn't have to cost. Like you discovered your lovely star this morning. I mean, what a radiant star that is. So,
Right.
go to an op shop or something and buy a colourful ornament or a colourful stuffed toy, or go to one of the shops and get a beautiful pillow, cushion cover. You can change them at will, and just start putting colour into your life again.
Yes, I was just thinking of furnishings and paintings or whatever. Tablecloths. I like to have a bright flowers. Absolutely. Yeah. This time of the year in Australia is just stunning. The roses are coming out. All of the spring flowers.
Flowers. Yeah.
The gardens are so colourful, and so simply just walking around my village, I feel uplifted because
blessed. Yeah,
they're just beautiful.
Yeah. And the thing to remember as well is that a colour, you might have a favourite colour. So yellow is my favourite colour, right? So yellow and blue are the two that I like the best. But there would be times where yellow is not in my highest good. So I might be having a lot of distractions in my head. Well, on those occasions, yellow is not my best friend. All right, because sometimes yellow, the colour yellow, so I've got a chart here, and the colour yellow as a diffusing can feel that I'm being hypersensitive. I'm blocking my emotions. I'm not feeling the best. I'm scatterbrained. So in those particular occasions, I need to dim down the yellow a little bit, or say, okay, well, what can I do that softens it? So putting white with anything softens it. It just takes the sharper shade away and brings it into a shade of that colour. Because as we can have shades of emotions, we can also have shades of colour.
So true. I was with friends yesterday, and one had her granddaughter had her 3rd birthday at the weekend, and it was a yellow party.
Yeah, there you go.
This friend had been to the op shop to get a yellow top. It was beautiful, gorgeous.
Yeah. So themed parties are really good, and other people will say, oh, I can't wear that colour. I mean, I'm a healer, right? And my least favourite colour is purple.
Oh, really?
It stuns everybody. I love it in flowers, and I don't mind it in a little bit of soft furnishings and stuff, but I never gravitate to purple clothes. Never.
Wow.
Ever. In fact, the one dress I've got that is purple, it was for one of the boys' weddings, and I don't reuse it. The other ones I'll grab all the time because they're in the colours I love. But the purple one, I look at it and go, oh, do I want that? So I really hesitate. So it's but I do use purple as an accent colour. So there are soft mauves and purples in accent. So I put them, I assist my main colours with these accent colours.
Right.
But it's not. My daughter, as a young girl, painted her room purple, and I used to use that as a clinic once. And I'd say to people, oh, I'm not really fussed on purple. And they go, you're in a purple room. I go, I know. It was the room I was in. And that was okay, because it was obviously a reason I was in the purple room. But I would never have willingly painted the room purple.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. And I know when I was making my website, the first time with a graphic designer, I said to her, look, I'm not purple pink. I love magenta. So magenta is a colour that I really connect with. And probably that lilac, which is that really softer purple. So I said, I'm blue green, I'm turquoise, blue greens, those kind of energy colours that I like in my clinic. And when she created my website, for some reason, she decided to make it pink purple. Well, I never went with it. I'd look at it and I'd go, because it was not what I'd asked for, really.
Right.
All right. So, it may, if someone else came along and said, oh, that's magnificent. And I go, maybe. But it wasn't what I had in mind.
Right.
So, the box of cards I got with it went in the dump. I just threw them out straight away. I didn't even bother saying, oh, well, I'll keep these and use them for X, Y, and Z. I went, no, I don't connect to them. I'm not using them.
Right.
So
see, we have colour experts, don't we, who there was a stage where people were encouraged to look at do they go for, do warm colours suit me or do cool colours suit me?
There's still a lot of them. I've got a good friend who still does them, and she has a lot of people, she shows the before and after. So the colours that suit their energy field and their life and what they possibly might wear. And then she'll show them wearing the colours that show up as being, I think it's winter, summer, spring and autumn are the colours they use.
Yeah.
And then they have a range of those in those particular sections. And it can make a huge difference. Like someone who wears white and loves white but is not a white person, when you see them in a slightly off-white, their face lifts.
Yes.
You know, whereas the white can make it be quite stark.
Yeah.
So it does make a huge difference when you see the comparison.
Absolutely.
And I know with art, my brother used to make those amazing fractals, which were just really bright, colourful mathematical equation pictures. And I used to frame them and I'd sell them at different places for him. And it used to make a difference which frame you put round, you know, the matting that you can put around a photo.
Yep.
Depending on which matting you used, those pictures would just pump when you pick the right one. It was a real solid visual effect that you were seeing purely by changing the matting around the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So the energy of those colours were massive.
Inner Cigar works a lot with colour as well.
Yeah.
And so the meanings behind them, why, and you've touched on that this morning, why are we drawn to a particular
to certain
colour?
colours, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I just realised recently that where I was using a lot of a particular colour, I've tended to move away into another colour scheme. And I think, well, that's really lovely. And it's nice to have a change.
Yeah, because a change is as good as a holiday.
Yes.
Yeah, because we can get accustomed to a certain colour. So when we reintroduce a different colour, it's like a whole fresh breath of air coming in. All right, so it's really nice. So the colours are also connected to the Chinese philosophy of the earth, wind, fire, water, wind, and earth, wind, fire, water, metal. So they come into the 5 element processes as well.
All right.
And the 5 elements then when you've got your colour, they're all put into the categories of the 5 elements. But then within the 5 elements, you have all the body systems or organs that are connected to those particular elements as well. So it's kind of got a really intricate weaving into our health and wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when I'm doing colour balances as opposed to just colour readings, which is the cards, the colour balances, we'll ask the question, do we need to infuse or do we need to diffuse a colour? All right, so, excuse me, so a young boy I saw many years ago sort of sat on the spectrum borderline sort of thing. He wasn't actually, diagnosed, but he presented with a lot of habits that a child on the spectrum would show. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and he went to school, a special school, and the special school's classroom was painted yellow. So I'm going back to yellow for some reason, but for him, the yellow scattered him. He couldn't think clearly in that yellow room, right? It wasn't that he didn't like yellow. It had nothing to do with like or dislike. It was just purely the energy, because colour is a vibrational energy. It's a sound wave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for us to see colour, the colour is actually a particular sound wave.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right, and the cones of our eyes. So when we see it, it comes into our eyes and goes back to the cones and everything, and they depict what the sound waves are showing us. Okay, so for him, the sound wave of yellow was overwhelming and traumatic, and we actually had to diffuse. We had to find out, or we found out where in his body he was holding that. He was holding it in his head. So it was about, I can't think clearly when I'm in this room, and yet it was a coloured room for children that had learning challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine how it was just turning him right off all the time, and he was really struggling. So we did quite a bit of work on his colour, the energy of the colour, being able to be in it without it being affecting him negatively.
Right.
So we would use the colour yellow. Right.
Interesting.
Whereas someone else might have to have it infused because they might have a lack in their life. And the colour, the energy of the colour. So we're not always talking just of the color. We're talking also, because we're doing angel work, it's the energy of the color. So if your life wheel, so imagine your body is this big circle and you've got all the colors, because we are made up of the rainbow, you know, which is all colors. There might be a chunk that it's lacking, but it might be lacking in different circumstances. So it might not be all the time. But maybe when you're under a lot of stress, you might find that there's a certain color that's missing and you need to infuse that color.
Right. So you mentioned a rainbow, and I delight in seeing rainbows. And the more vibrant they are, the bit it's like,
they're just magical. And it's not about the pot of gold, but that's part of the magic, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Pot of gold at the end. So
yes, it's like, where is it ending?
I know, let's go chase it, and then it moves. How dare it? So that's the rainbow is another healing tool I use in clinic. And I tell people, so they might be needing strength and courage. Well, can you imagine the amount of courage and magnificence that the just went out of my head, the big waterfall in America.
Niagara.
Niagara Falls, that's the word, yes. So you can imagine the energy and magnificence of Niagara Falls, the force of the water is massive, right? And a lot of people go there and they're just inspired by it. Well, someone has put rainbow lights behind the waterfall.
Oh, really?
So they're using colour to enhance the healing energy or the magnificence of Niagara Falls. So I'll often use that as a protection tool. So someone who's working in a care situation, especially like child protection or work along those lines, or someone who's doing a lot of caring for disadvantaged people or people with mental illness, using a rainbow waterfall and an imaginary one, but one that you've put in place, so it's one of your, like a visual, helps to protect you. It cleanses you going in and cleanses you coming back out. But going in, it gives you this inspiring or this awesome protection of confidence. Coming out, it's saying, okay, well, yes, I'm dealing with all this stuff, but I don't always have to take it home with me. So let me be able to let it go or leave it over there so I can pick it up again when I need to. And then you get in your car and you're kind of washed by it as well.
Nice.
You know, so it's visualization is another tool that we can use, and we use that with colour. Right.
Yeah. I've rehung a lot of my sun catchers, and I just adore the colours. And my grandsons now have as one of them tells me, it's a machine, Nana, that brings colour onto their ceiling of a night.
Yeah, it's got like stars on it and everything. Yeah, night lights. Yeah, they are. They're beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, the kids have got some of them as well.
Yeah, it can
and it's just that gentle light.
Colour. Yes.
Yeah. And some of them you can get them like from QBD and places like that, or the other graphic shop, which has planets or stars. So when the light comes up, they've got stars all over their ceiling.
Right. Gorgeous.
So just imagine it's the cutout at the top of the machine or the light.
Yes.
The coloured lights are in the background. So it creates like a night sky. So.
Yes. So colour, I do love it. And also, quite often if I'm watering the garden, depending on how the sun catches the water, or the water catches the sun, whatever, you can see the rainbows as well.
Yeah. Another really beautiful way to see that kind of thing in nature and to really appreciate the diamonds of nature is a big spider's web after a dewy night. You know, and you don't want to walk through it, but you can admire the glistening droplets that are on that website, and in different angles you'll see them all different colours.
Yeah.
I think we're very lucky nowadays because there's so many glittery things that we can use. Like the kids play with those little gem pictures, you know, where it's got a sticky page and you put a little gem on the top of it.
All right.
It's like painting by colour, but they're little tiny gemstones. The only trouble with it is generally someone tips one of the dishes over and they scatter everywhere. So then you're picking them up. And if you stand on one and you stand on the sticky side, it sticks to under your feet. You believe you've got a rock there. What what is on my foot? And you find one of these little coloured gemstones stuck onto it. So we mentioned blue before. So when you're infusing blue, you're often looking for inner guidance and the light, letting the light in so that you can think more clearly. All right. And that colour blue often lets you understand your own resources or to trust your inner knowledge so that you can, if you're getting guides and messages, those messages, even if they don't make sense to you, you note them.
You make them.
You note them, so you
understand
that you've seen it. So you sort of make a mental note of that message, not just discounting it. Because so often we'll discount a message that comes through.
Yes, thinking it doesn't. That's not.
And it mightn't be for now. It might be for later. Because remember, angels don't have our time. They work on angel time. We work on human time.
Right.
So they might be giving you a message that's for the future, but they think it's just tomorrow, but it might be way down the track. If you've actually acknowledged that message and go, okay, well, I'll store that for a later time. When it happens, you go, oh, I remember that. So-and-so, I remember something happening about that.
Right.
So it's interesting. Hindsight's a wonderful tool, I reckon.
Oh, isn't it?
I love it. It's a terrific teacher.
If only I'd listened.
I know. Yep. So where was I the other day? We ran a workshop on mental health, UN Mental Health Day on Tuesday. And leading up to the workshop, we're going, okay, we're all under control. I had the 3 speakers and the MC and everything was coordinated. And then for some reason I thought, so what happens if something happens on the day? What do we do?
Right.
You know, there's always something. And luckily one of our speakers we'd done a video with her a little while ago. And she was the one that ended up having a bit of an accident and couldn't come. But because I'd been pre-thinking about it, and the angels had said, you need to make a note of this for some reason. We actually had her little YouTube video saved, and we were able to play that. So it was still, she still presented, just in a different way.
Wow. And
I think COVID has taught us to be tolerant when you have to adapt.
Yes.
So the attendees at the workshop didn't get all upset because the middle person, instead of being a person, was her video, because the message was still there. It was just not her in her physical person. So,
well, I nearly asked you earlier this morning. I mean, you're in your clinic at the moment, and obviously you do see people in your clinic. However, you also do a lot of Zoom appointments.
Yeah, so it's no different, but just that if they came to listen to her talk, they could have been disappointed if she wasn't there.
Right. Yes.
Right. So, but the talk that we'd pre-recorded and we'd done it for another reason a few years ago was on that talk. So it was perfect. Was it a perfect technical video? No, but people don't care. Well, they do care, but it was, the information was what they came to hear.
Sure.
So if they closed their eyes, they would still hear the 2 people talking, and it would have been awesome. So it was just, the light, things like lighting, because you're not thinking about onward use of some things. A bit like Angel Heart Radio. Sometimes you listen to it and you go, oh, geez, I should have done X, Y, and Z. I actually came across on one of my older computers, a laptop, a video. It would have been a video interview that I had. It would have to be 14 years ago at least, with Michelle Newton from Angel Heart Radio. She was just starting to do little videos. And honestly, back then you never thought of your background. You just were doing the video. But when I rewatched it, I looked in the background. I went, oh, my goodness, the mess and everything that was behind us. But it wasn't the mess people were listening to. It was the information.
That's right.
Really, it's a great video, except for the mess. So I'm a lot more conscious nowadays of what's behind me.
Right.
So,
well, it's just wonderful the way we can reach out. I mean, we can go on to YouTube or Facebook anytime we like. And well, TikTok, I haven't got into TikTok, but I mean,
No, me
people
neither.
use that all the time to get messages out. And it's such a different world to when I can remember being overseas, Marnie, and having to write aerograms.
Or take traveller's checks with you. Buy traveller's checks before you left, so that you had money to. I don't think they exist anymore.
Possibly not. No, because now we have
wallets. Where would you go to cash them?
Well, yes, and see, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think of a wallet as being something physical, but a wallet now is on your phone.
It's on your phone. Yes, it's a little card or something, or an app. Yeah. Well, I used an app on Tuesday that I hadn't used before. To draw out instead of having tickets on Lucky Tickets and then you squash them up and then you got to draw one out. I found Googled and found an app that drew out a lucky number, and all you had to do was put the numbers that were there, so 1 to whatever, and then say pick a lucky number out of that, and it generated the lucky number. And I went, oh, this is too easy. You didn't have to worry about, did I give everyone a ticket? And then you didn't have to scrunch them up and then dig around to get them out.
Right.
It was great. It was really good.
Saving paper, so I believe.
Yeah, saving a workload too, and that anxiety. Have I given everyone their ticket?
Sure.
Yeah. Right, would you like me to draw a lucky card for the end of our show today? Out of our lovely ones here. This one that's showing up. So come over here, a little card. All right, so it's ruby. Ruby red. So I'll try and put it closer to the.
Yes,
and it's 2 hearts sealed as one. So the angels have heard your prayer to meet your soulmate and are here to inform you that this person will arrive very soon in your life. Now, sometimes that soulmate can be self. We can be disconnected from ourself or feeling a bit lost or afloat. So to know that we're coming back and that we're starting to love ourselves again. So it's not always about a significant other, but it can be.
Right.
All right. So just be aware that sometimes it's because some people go, oh no, I'm not. I've already got a partner. Blah blah blah. Okay. Well, how are you with yourself? Is that a bit of a challenge at the moment? So, or are you feeling a bit disconnected from things that are going on? And the swan is actually the totem animal for that particular card as well. Right. Okay. So the swan is that very faithful animal.
They are, aren't they? Because
they and they make that beautiful heart shape too with their beaks when they meet in the middle.
Yes.
So so it's just saying you'll know. So on a subconscious level, you remember you made a contract, but you need to trust in your guidance. Right. So for whoever that was for today, that's a color that if it's missing in your life. So ruby is that it's not red and it's not brown. It's that in between. So what's a ruby color? A bit like the blood red kind of color of grapefruits, or the actual color of a ruby ring.
Right. Yes, I think of the ruby in
the ruby ring. It's that lovely deep, beautiful shade. It's an unusual shade. As I said, it's not red and it's not orange. It's kind of that bit in between. All right. So someone needed to hear that today. So there you go.
That's
have it.
Wonderful. Yes. Look for the ruby red. I'm looking at a tablecloth that is red and white and black squares at the moment. How interesting. And
there you go.
A candle holder that is has joy in red written on it. So
so red's all about taking action. Red's an action color. It gets you to take action. But when it's in its negative, so when you need to diffuse it, it's when you're feeling exhausted or overwhelmed.
Okay.
So it shows up then. A lot of people use red as a not only action but confidence. So someone who's you talked before about having to wear black all the time. You can wear black on the outside because that could be your uniform again, but underneath you can wear colour.
That's true.
So get your vibrant underwear out and wear that, or colourful knickers or whatever, because that is kind of diffusing the black energy from the beginning.
I think of red, it's also powerful, isn't it? People sometimes wear red to an interview.
Yeah, red shoes, that can be very powerful.
That's right.
You're walking in confidence.
Right.
So, and people think back to who wore the red shoes?
Dorothy.
Red Riding Hood. Dorothy, yeah, and she needed to click her red shoes to get back home. So.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
People might like to revisit The Wizard of Oz. That's a very colourful movie.
Absolutely. And it got a lot of metaphors in there that you don't always realise when you're first reading it either. It's
wonderful movie. Somewhere over the rainbow.
See, there we go. The rainbow's back.
Well, Marnie, it's been fabulous as usual.
Thank you.
I trust that our audience, whenever they watch this, will gain something and bring extra colour into their lives. Yes.
Or at least begin to understand why colour could be affecting them.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. All right, everybody. May you continue to have a colourful day.
Absolutely. And have fun.
Filled with love, fun and magic. Yes. And Marnie, just before we go, I want to let people know that I'm doing a change of personnel for next week. Elaine Ann has very kindly said that she will come on next week, allowing Rosemary to have the week after, because they have a very, very special family event next week. Okay. So, all right. In the meantime, you enjoy what you're doing. I will. I'll enjoy what I'm doing, and I trust everyone else will enjoy.
I'll see you in a month.
Okay. Much love, everyone.